I am not quite sure what just happened there. I think the last stream was killed, and this is actually a separate stream instead of resuming the existing one. So, and it's even possible that there might be two streams running. I saw that happen before, because I don't see anybody here. So everybody might be... Wow. Yeah, so Igor is saying he's not getting notified when I go live. And there goes my camera dying on me again. Wonderful. I don't see anyone here. Let's see. Here. So everybody might be... Wow. Yeah, so Igor is saying he's not getting notified. Okay, so the street. Okay. My camera dying on me again. All right, so we're back. Sorry about the mumbo jumbo. And now my camera's frozen, but whatever. Whatever. Subscribe, Linux. Camera. What is your problem? All right, whatever. All right, that's it. I'm giving up. It's hard for me to just leave something like this, like it's not working properly. You know, it's in my nature that I want to figure it out and get it fixed, but it's taking me too much time. So let's go ahead and get started. So Igor mentioned some indentation issues. So, do I have the... I thought I had the code open somewhere that has the where we left off. I'm not sure where that went. But anyway, regardless, let's talk about indentation. So, I'm going to create a new folder, and we can call it let's go to brain. Let's call this indentation. All right, so Igor had an indentation error, so let us see if we can replicate what would have happened to Igor with my frozen head in the corner. Hard for me to just ignore that. You know what? I'm gonna turn off the webcam. How about that? Because I hate seeing it being stuck like that. It's bothering me. Where's the webcam? Linux. Webcam. Why don't I see the webcam? What on earth is going on? I don't even see it here. Banner. Background. Music. Techno background. Python logo. LCDs. Oh, here we go. There we go. Turn it off. Turn it on. Turn it off. All right. So, I'm going to create a script called indentation.py, and then we're going to insert, and we're going to do a shebang user bin env python, and we're going to do a let me see. Let me do a test. See if I can. Well, let's start with some of the basics. So it was a hello world thing. So we're printing out a string. So let's do an actual hello world, right? Get something close to what Igor was dealing with. So there it is. This is my hello world. So if I clear the screen and then Python indentation, so it says hello world. Yeah, yay. All right. So now, what if I wanted to put I think what I had done is an intro on top. So I did like a print. I can't even see the comments. I gotta get my Streamlabs together. Igor says no chomping. No chomping. Pop out chat. Oh my goodness. What is up? Is it like the USB is loose? It's like on and off and on and off and on and off. You're driving me crazy. What is your problem? All right, so now I can see your comments. I can see Igor is crying. So I think what I did is I did like a splash or something. So it was like welcome to indentation land. Indentation land. So whatever. So it says 2 lines. I said, let's put a space between the 2 lines. So I think what I did is I just did a insert print or pint or patent. Man, I must be in Igor's time zone here. So then I just print nothing to get a blank space there, right? So then let's see what that looks like. So there we go. Welcome to indentation land. Space. Hello world. Hello world. Where have you been? All right. So somehow Igor got an error about indentation. So, oh my goodness, this thing is just totally busted. So if we go back into our script, and I did say this, what would happen? Aha! Look at that. So Igor, is this the error that you were getting? Does that look like the error that you were getting, Igor? Igor Kalember. Of course, this thing is delayed. There's a delay between you hearing me, which is not ideal, but I'm pretty sure this is what you were getting. Now, in this scenario, it was kind of obvious. So, if you had like 1 space, perhaps, and you didn't notice that, you get the same result. Igor said he lost memory. So essentially, like I was telling you, remember my rule that I talked about? I think I did this. It's part of my Python tutorial. Indent with intention. You can use that to help you remember. Indent with intention. Whenever you indent, make sure that you intend to do so, because indentation is very it has a specific meaning, right? So imagine, I guess it's symbolic within Python will be a way to describe it. So imagine something like a stop sign. Stop sign is not just some pretty picture on the side of the road. that you can choose to admire or not admire. It's a specific instruction that you're expected to follow. So when you see a stop sign, you're supposed to stop. So when you do an indentation in your Python script, that's a stop sign. Not literally, I don't mean in a direct translation, but it's as symbolic as a stop sign to the interpreter. You're giving the interpreter instructions, right? So you do not want to be doing that on without intention. So it's similar to, some of you guys know I'm into motorcycles, and one of the things that they tell you about in terms of when you're like making turns and things like that, they talk about not giving unintentional steering inputs. So basically, based on how you're holding the handlebars while you're in a lean, you may move your hand slightly, responding to bumps in the roads and stuff like that. And by you moving your hand slightly, you're giving steering inputs. So basically, you are telling the bike that you want to turn, which you don't want to be doing, just all willy-nilly. You want to, if you're turning, it should be an intentional process, right? So the same thing here. So the only thing is, that's all very simple and easy to understand, but the problem is sometimes you can run into scenarios where you can't see it. I can't think of a way to demonstrate it to you right now, but you see how you can tell that the second line, the second print, you can tell that it's indented like that. Sometimes for some reason it won't be that easy to spot. You look at it and everything seems to be fine, but I don't know why that would be, because it seems like it's kind of obvious. But I do know that does happen. So in that case, you just have to be a little bit more vigilant in terms of making sure. So if I'm not doing anything special, right? I'm not trying to tell the interpreter anything special as far as with indentation, right? Indentation says something, right? Like the ending of a loop, for example. If I'm not sending a specific instruction, then I want to make sure that there is no indentation. So if I'm getting this kind of error, I'm going to go line by line and look and see if there's any indentation that I did not intend, right? So anywhere that is indentation, it should be like, I did that because I was saying end of loop, or I was saying blah blah blah. There should not just be a random indent there in your code, right? So that's the basic fundamentals. But the next thing is, what are some tools to help you to figure that out? Well, if you're using something like gedit, and you can do this with Vim as well, but if you're using a program like gedit, where it's a GUI based editor, then typically there will be a how do I trigger? I think you have to save this before it'll give you the maybe not. Oh no, so you just have to choose it. So I mean, this is not directly relevant to what we're talking about, but I like to have the highlighting. So let's do not Perl, but Puppet. No guys, come on guys. What are we doing? We're not doing any Puppet here. We're doing Python, right? All right, so there you go. You can see all the color coding. Not really relevant, but, and see here as well, you can clearly see the indentation here. But again, there'll be times where it's hard to see. So what you need is additional tools to assist you with identifying the problem. So what you can do is, there's usually a way that you can turn on, like old school, it was called reveal codes, but in something like gedit, you have, is it font? No. Editor. Is it plugins? It might be plugins. View, display the number, 9 numbers. It might be plugins. There might be a plugin that does that. Let's see. command, dashboard. Every program is going to have a different thing, right? So there's draw spaces and tabs, right? So see that right there. You can see. So this normally I couldn't see that, but now I'm seeing it, right? And I think that might be it for this program. Size. Yeah, I think that might be it for this. So, for example, if for whatever reason we couldn't see this indent, see now you have that little dot there. See? And different programs will use different symbology, but here, so if this was kind of, so what'll happen for some reason, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the formatting you're using or something. Like the width of this space is kind of wide, so it stands out. But if the width of the space is smaller than that, then, and then you have a lot of code, for example, it'll be hard to see that this P is not exactly aligned with the P under it. So you could scan through and it looks like there's no indentation, but there is one. But with this mode that I have on, you'll see the dot. Right, so if you're unsure, you'll see the dot. Now VIM has a similar thing as well. It's a mode that you can activate. What is it called? It's like set something. Set. So I can find it. VIM reveal codes. Oh wow, they actually looked, somebody called it reveal codes. They're probably a word perfect person like me, old fogey. So I see something called set list. So let's see if that'll do it. Set list. There you go. So with set list, if I do an insert and a space, so there's different modes. Obviously this is seems to be indicating the end of a line. That's the way I interpret this, because actually the end of the line shortcut symbol is $, so that makes sense. So it's the caret and the dollar. If you remember my video that I did talking about that, the caret and the dollar. So dollar shoots you to the end of the line. The caret shoots you to the beginning of the line. So this symbol seems to be just telling you the end of each line. So so there's also set list characters. So set list chars equals dot dot dot. Is that literally what you should be doing? Let's see. No, that's not. What is up with the dot dot dot? No, not an insert. Set. Oh, as I thought, that's supposed to be the list of what you want to see. So it's supposed to be like EOL. Isn't there one that shows everything? So someone suggested this option. Yeah, screwed the pooch on that one. Yeah, that is not the thing we want. I don't remember which is set list. So I don't remember offhand. So there's another one. Let's try that. So set syntax. So syntax on. Let's try that. So syntax on, and then we do this guy. Ah, there we go. So that works. So syntax on, and then set syntax equals white space. So now we can see very clearly all the spaces. So it's very easy to spot indentation, right? So for example, if I wanted to do a, let's see, while true, do. Print. What are you up to? Well, that's pretty annoying. Look at that. It does a special symbol for the tab, I guess. It's greater than dash, 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 dash. And when we're done, we just say print test. Hey, does this kill my color coding? It might just do that because everything is all in green now. While true do, invalid syntax. While true do. Semicolon. Horrible. Horrible. Who wrote this? Your syntax is horrible. Your syntax is horrible. While true, that's what happens now. All right. And we can do an import time. And then, so this end line is kind of ridiculous because you're never going to get to this line, but whatever. Let's do a, oh, why did I do that? Let's do a time dot sleep. And then we do 0.8. We can add a space, yank, yank, put, and delete that. So there's space between each line. There you have it. So, considering that there's not that many lines in this code, it should be pretty easy for you to identify what the problem was. But essentially, you have something indented where it should not be. So everything is supposed to be flush with the margin unless you are, again, sending an instruction. So for example, here I'm doing a while true loop or a while loop. So I indent to indicate the body of the loop. Therefore, when I outdent, the interpreter knows that the loop is complete. right? So when I give the while true instruction, it's going to process all of the indented lines, line 1, line 2, line 3, back to the beginning, line 1, line 2, line 3, back to the beginning, line 1. So, and then more specifically, line 1, line 2, line 3. Next line is outdented, so therefore I know this is the end. So I'm going to go back to the beginning and start all over. Same thing. Every time it comes here and it sees that you've outdented, it knows that this is the final line. So there's probably some logic in there that if next line outdented, then current line equals final line or something like that, right? So you go here, if next line equals outdented, then current line equals final. That's not true, so therefore it doesn't apply that logic. Here, if next line equals outdented, then this line equals final. So this is not outdented, so it'll continue. Same thing here, if next line outdented, then this line equals final. In this case, the condition is true, so therefore it'll loop back. Now, I don't know the actual the code that the while is using, so that's just sort of my pseudocode interpretation of what's being done. That may not even be the way that it's actually doing that. For all I know, it could be paying attention to the position of the characters on the line somehow. But it's doing some kind of something like that, where it does recognize that this is outdented, and therefore that means to stop here. But that's basically how this works. But if I were to do, so another thing I could break here is even within the outdented, indented sections, I could add a space here, right, by accident, and that's going to be the same kind of problem. So if I run this again, we're going to get again, and there goes my stupid camera. So annoying. So Igor says his program is telling him that it's the code is unreadable. The code is unreadable. Where is my chat? Chat. Windows. Window capture. Existing. I don't see a chat. Chat. Hangout? No. We want chat. Maybe YouTube comments? It wouldn't be YouTube comments. No. That's not it. Let's add a window capture. Let's call it chat. And of course, it complains because I know I did this already, but for some reason it's not showing up in my list. So now I gotta go add a chat 2, which is annoying, but whatever. Chat 2. Okay, so there's my chat. Now let me grab the chat, pop out. Name error, time is not defined. So are you copying the code that I'm doing now, or is this the code that you did before, Igor? Where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that from, Igor? You making that up? Are you making this up? My pasta is cold. Well, Igor, if you're doing literally what I'm doing, we should not be getting any errors unless you're not using the same version of Python as I am. And the version of Python that you're using doesn't like what I'm doing. So I'm using, if you type in Python and enter, it should tell you what version of Python you're using. I'm using 2.7.6. Is that what you're using? Nom 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 nom. Igor, what version of Python are you using? Aha! So Python 3. So let's see what happens when I run this with Python 3. So Python 3. Aha! Well, that's I broke it here. So let's fix that and run it again. So it actually works. So that would indicate to me, if you're using the same version of Python and you're literally typing in what I'm typing in, you should get the same results, unless you're somehow not typing exactly what I'm typing in. Somehow you're making a mistake somewhere. Oh no. You're getting the name error, name time is not defined. So you would get a name error, time is not defined if you didn't define time, right? So there's actually a pretty good error message. So I've imported time here, right? So therefore when I reference time here, it's already aware of what time is. So time is something that's been imported. It is part of my, I don't know if you'd consider that, I guess you'd consider that my namespace. So I have access to time because I've imported time. So by importing time, I've made time available. So therefore when I refer to time, it works. But to try to replicate your issue, if I were to remove the import and run the same script, let's look at the results. So as you can see, I'm getting now that's interesting. That is interesting. So it's oh, I didn't clear the screen, is that why? Okay, clear. No, that's interesting. So it actually runs up to that point. So it does the splash, it does the hello world, it starts the loop. That's interesting. So basically it does one iteration of the loop and then it fails there, because it hits the time.sleep, and it doesn't know what time is. So you get a name error, name time is not defined. So the simple solution is to define time, right? Now time is defined. And now when I run it, good to go. Eureka! Das ist gut. Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht. Gute Nacht.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. Das ist gut.
Das ist gut.
Das ist gut.
Das ist gut.
Gut. Oh my goodness.
Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm. Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm.
Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm. Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm.
Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm.
That means Igor, fix your program. Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm. Igor,
Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm.
What's the best way? How do we do the live stuff before? Was it Google Hangouts? Hangouts. Oh, bedtime. What is up with this stupid thing? I hate this. I hate this software. So again, I don't see your name popping up. I see you as a contact, but I don't know. I don't like this interface. That is way too loud. Oh my goodness. Igor, reprasa the program. Igor, program. You gotta work on your German, man. Allo? Allo?
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Can you hear me? Allo? Guess you can't hear me. Buongiorno. Buongiorno. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. What is wrong with your program?
Dan, you are really hilarious. So, if you can look, I'm trying to show you with my phone.
So, well, yeah, I already. Oh, okay. Yeah, you cannot import on the same line, right? You have the import on the same line as your shebang.
You're talking about this first line?
Yeah.
Where should I put the import?
That's a separate line.
Like this?
Yeah, you can't just so that's interesting. You just made me think about something, because on the command line, well, even on the command line, you have to pipe, because on the command line or semicolon, in the command line, you can certainly group commands together. Well, first of all, the shebang, that's a special entry indicating where the interpreter is located. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised if it has special rules where you cannot do anything there. But as far as other lines, you might be able to group them like you do in the command line, but you still would need to give some kind of special, like semicolon or pipe or something. Otherwise, you would need to do one command per line. So yeah, so that should be fine now. I can't really see it that well, but
What you want to see?
well, the import is fine, but now you've commented it out, so it's not going to do anything. So you need to remove that. Get rid of that that pound sign from there. Oh, it's a no. Yeah, the pound sign is a comment. So when you have that there, it's gonna ignore that line. 1 second. Let's see.
Yeah, it's working, bro.
It's working now?
Yeah, you're a smart guy.
Ah, no. I'm a dummy.
No, you actually, if you're really intelligent, yeah, hell yeah.
Dum. Let me see.
You and I actually know this is a smart guy. I'm just really not knowledgeable about Python.
Well, it's it is well past your bedtime as well. So, what time is it?
4.
Whoa, yeah, it is well past your bedtime. What time do you normally get up?
Well, my dream is to get up around 6 a.m. But I don't want to brag. This is so stupid. I tell you, the last few days I wake up around 1 p.m.
Wow. Why are you waking up so late?
And I actually can't sleep. Before it was insomnia.
Oh.
Now I kind of ended up because I was watching a movie 2 days in a row, Harry Potter, my girlfriend. So yeah, that's a problem. But I don't know. I'm trying to work out to make myself really tired by training. So yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get out of your rhythm because of well, for me, and it's annoying, like one night you will stay up too late or something, and then now you're thrown off. So you stay up too late, you wake up super late, then at bedtime you're wide awake, so then you stay up late again, and then you're just stuck on that treadmill. So unfortunately, it's kind of like a band-aid where you have to just rip it off. So you have to somehow abruptly get off of that cycle. So like what you are trying to do is what I generally do. I will try to, because the main problem is that you will not be tired when you're supposed to if you sleep late. So you want to try and make yourself tired. So like you're saying, working out is something, but I think a big part of it is just making that sacrifice. And you might have to go one night without proper sleep. So you go to bed at 3 or something and then get up 3-4 hours later. I mean, it's gonna suck, but then if you can fight through and stay up, then definitely when it's bedtime you're gonna be so exhausted because you've been up for like 18 hours or something. But the trick is, can you stay awake long enough? So I would say if you're gonna do that, probably, I've been drinking a lot of coffee lately. I don't like that, but or the energy drink or whatever. Just figure something out that if you sleep for a few hours, that when you get up you have something to keep you up so you can last long enough. Because if you fall asleep in the middle of the day, then you're going to ruin the whole thing, because now you've gotten your rest. So now when bedtime comes, yet again you're not tired because you slept. So but I know it's tough.
Well, listen, I can go without sleeping. It's not a problem for me. I don't drink anything except water. So all I want to say is it's not a problem for me not to sleep if I'm doing something, like anything that I like. Like if I'm bored, then I want to sleep or eat, and that's bad because then I can overeat or oversleep. The thing is, I'd rather sleep today and wake up around 2 or whatever. Yeah, that's not good, but then I would not sleep tomorrow if I don't sleep today, I'll F up my training for tomorrow. And when I'm saying tomorrow, I actually mean today because it's already Thursday. I must sleep the 8 hours because I'm doing like very intense work tomorrow in the gym. So in Friday I won't sleep because I'm not gonna train. I mean, I am, but not that intensely, so I can not sleep for Friday. But for Thursday I gotta be rested because it's really big intensity. And what I want to say is, if I'm not interrupting you, the only thing is I don't even have a problem not sleeping if I'm gonna do quality stuff like type code and learn it. I don't know, it's like Spanish language to me. I don't know like how to start with it. I don't know, it's so confusing for me sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta well, here's the thing. Have you been doing what I told you to do, which is be honest, every day doing something with Python, even if you're just looking at code. At a minimum, look at some code. And when I say look, I always tell you, make sure that what you're doing is you're trying to interpret the code. So like the code you just did, tomorrow at a minimum, you'd want to take a look at this code and be like, okay, that's the shebang that tells the interpreter where to run this from, and then there's the import for time, and then so basically go through line by line as much as you can. Have you been doing that?
Well, yeah, I had like of course I had like days where I didn't do anything, but usually on the regular I look at your videos like Python implant, and I try to type what you type and to see if it works, and type some other things like not to copy it exactly, but to try to implement the code by myself. So I do actually try to do it, but thing is I can't explain this, but let me like rephrase it how I should. I actually would like to know how to learn. Not just to learn, how to learn something and understand it. Because I even have this book, and I don't know, like I can't. I just want a one simple path with learning this language. What to learn first, then second, then third, and then I can like while I'm learning it, testing it, because what I'm doing is really stupid, and I'm like looking at this or at that, or what you typed in your code or someone else. I get confused, so I would really love to learn it really correctly, logically, like step by step, so I can implement it alone without anyone at any time. Even when I'm sleeping, I want to remember the code and everything. What does it mean?
Well, the impact is definitely a good path in terms of, like you're saying, what do you learn first versus what do you learn next. Like that video progresses you from, you know, the basics that you need, and it gets as you go along, you're gonna start learning things that are more and more advanced. And so it's set up in a good order in terms of what you should learn first versus next. Additionally, I would say always make sure, and I apologize, this is my fault. I mean, it's so disappointing what YouTube has become, you know, because it makes it so increasingly difficult to really you know, it's like the more time I invest in YouTube, the more difficult it is, because I'm investing time into a platform that has no respect for me or my, you know, my content or anybody. You know, it's just it's this stupid algorithm and whatever, and you know, I don't appreciate that. Like I don't appreciate like let's put this into the real world. Like imagine if I had the interest to build cars, right? Actual cars. And do you know the game Jenga?
The what?
Do you know the game that's called Jenga?
No.
It's a game where you're building, like, you take these little blocks and you're building them, and then you're supposed to, the basic idea is at some point in time, it's going to fall over. Maybe because of the balance or whatever. So you keep putting these pieces on top of pieces on top of pieces. And then at some point in time, it'll fall over and then that person loses. So that's how YouTube is. So it's like, imagine if building cars was like that. So you're going to build a car and then just randomly the whole thing would just fall apart. So I would really lose interest to invest a lot of time in building cars, knowing that that's how it works. Like, I don't want to spend all this time like building up this car knowing that randomly the whole thing might just one day just fall apart. Like, but that's YouTube. Like, I could do everything right and then get the channel going and get the views and everything, and all right, I have a good audience, you know, a lot of people are learning and everything, and all of a sudden one day they decide to change the algorithm, and all of a sudden no more views, or they shut down an entire website. So, you know, that's my challenge. Like, I want to do more, but there's part of me that realizes that I'm investing into an unstable platform that's just kind of all over the place. You know, back in the day, I feel like if you had good quality content, all you need to do was invest the time, and, you know, you would grow and everything would be good to go. But now it's just, and all this rambling is just to say there's certain things that I'm not doing that I should be doing. Like, for example, promoting to you guys certain things like my playlists, because I have playlists that are beneficial to you guys. But, you know, if you didn't go digging around, then maybe you didn't run into it. But that's my job to be saying, hey guys, make sure to check out my playlists. But I you know, I need to spend, like, all this stuff takes time. Like, I need to sit down and say, okay, in your video description, you should be promoting certain things. Let people know about your playlist. Let them know about a course that you recommend, because there's a free course that I recommend for machine learning and things like that. Like, that stuff should be in all my videos so that you guys always have that information available. But you know, it's time investment. I mean, even the way things look, I love the way things look now. I spend a lot of time doing that, like figuring out all the live stream stuff. But there's more to be done, you know. So I you know, it is what it is. But that's just the challenge that it is for me. On top of the normal, like regardless, I have to make sure that the content is quality and that it's meeting the needs of the audience. But on top of all of that, I could get all that perfect, but still I have to deal with the platform. You know, it's just like, I cannot just come here and just do great videos and then everything's gonna work out. You know, that doesn't work anymore. You know, it's
my thoughts about your channel.
Mm-hmm.
Why it's not growing like others. So my honest thoughts are that you are not abusing the things that they are, like perhaps clickbait titles, clickbait thumbnails, you know, like basically making someone or their mind like want to click on your video, even though it's nothing you said it is in the title or in the thumbnail. People are gonna click it, and some people might like it, some people not. But if you get more clicks, you get more popular. These YouTubers are doing, like, look at the tech lead, look at his thumbnails. He is a great guy and whatnot, but he has a special coloring. Like, look at his clothes. He's always like black clothes and like it's everything like black and gray with him.
Do you mean the way he dresses?
Yeah, he's so simple. He has that, and then he has like some very simple big text, like how do I make $1,000 on YouTube in 1 month? Like, what idiot is not gonna like click on the video? Like, even if he did something that's true, he might talk a lot of BS, but it doesn't matter because he's gonna get clicks because of that title, because of that how it looks on the thumbnail. So you're actually like the one people that's very honest, and you're doing like great stuff. Like, I don't know.
Well, you have to understand that, again, this is what I was talking about, things falling apart. I have built several channels in the past that grew and that were like growing and being successful. I mean, multiple channels that got like 100,000 view videos. So, and this is over years. So I know I've consistently shown that I know how to grow a channel, but the thing is, every single time that I've done that, it's required a certain level of commitment, and it's difficult to make that commitment now, knowing how finicky the platform is. So it's not about being able to grow the channel. I know I can. It's about investing the time to do that, knowing that it could just all fall apart, you know, overnight. Like, because here's one of the things I run into. Because even look at now. Right now, I have a lot of craziness going on, like, as you're aware. So that messes up my publishing schedule. And so imagine if I spent the whole of last year doing everything that I was supposed to be doing, right? So the channel grew to, let's say 20,000 subscribers or something, and I'm getting a good amount of views. And then I have this craziness going on, and then I'm not able to post videos for 3 weeks or whatever. Next thing you know, I come back and I'm posting videos and I'm getting half the views. So after 12 months of hard work and dedication, just 3 weeks of not posting, and I lose a ton of my views, because while I'm not posting, other people are, and the algo is favoring them. So that's more the problem. It's just kind of a, it's almost like growing a channel today. It's almost like an act of I forgot the word, where, what is it, is it sadomasochism?
I'm not really sure.
Let me look that up. Sadomasochism. So that is psychology, tendency. Okay, I don't know if this is what I meant. It says psychological tendency or sexual practice characterized by sadism or masochism. I think it's maybe sadism. I think that's what I'm looking for. I think it's sadist. Let me look that up. Yes, I think so, yeah. Well, kind of. It says a person who derives pleasure, especially sexual gratification, from inflicting pain or humiliation on others. I don't know about the on others part, but the point I'm getting at is you have to have a certain level of enjoyment of pain to really grow on YouTube, or maybe just like lack of like caring, like you don't even care, like whatever happens, like you could wake up in the morning and your channel is deleted for some false flagging or something, and you'd be like, whatever, like you know. But if you actually care, you know, and you actually want to put your heart into things, it's it's tough, man. But you know, what am I going to do? I can't change the platform. It is what it is, you know, so I just have to kind of accept it and see what's the best I can do. But that's the challenge that I deal with. It's on top of, like I said, on top of everything else, because regardless, even if the platform was perfect, I'm challenged with picking the right videos, editing them properly, you know, catering it to my audience. But on top of that, I also have a platform that's broken. So it's and I'm a person, I like to be able to, I wouldn't say I'm a control freak, but I like to have a certain level of control over like what I'm doing. Like that's why I'll never do really good in sales. Because if you know about sales, especially like telemarketing, which I did for a short period of time, it's a numbers game. You have to have almost like no emotion. Like, I don't care. You could tell me, you know, my product is crap. I could go to 100 people and everybody spits in my face and I don't care. I'm going to keep going. Hey guys, check this out. You know, do you want to buy this? Hey guys, you don't have no emotion, because the way it works is it's a numbers game. So you have to be like a beast and just going and going and going and going, because the more people that you pitch to, the more sales you're going to make. But I can't work like that, because I don't like when I'm doing something and I'm not seeing results. So where I have 100 people and not one sale, but that's the way it works. Most people are going to tell you no when you're doing, you know, telemarketing sales. So that's why someone like me, I can't survive in that. I should say I can't, but it's more challenging because I'm going to care about that. It's going to bother me, you know, every time I make a pitch and they just like, leave me alone.
Did you like this Grant Cardone?
I've listened to a couple of his things. I mean, I'm a little bit, I don't know how I feel about him. I'm a little bit suspicious. Like most of those guys are.
Listen, I love the only thing that people like him or give me is like, I'll say motivation and hope. And I actually have like thought that might be a scam. He might be actually not, like just set up with the government, like blah 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 blah. But I'll just take what I can take from it. You know, I don't have to believe anything he says. I just have to take some notes and some tips that actually work. Like,
you know what? It's
in the paper, like what to do, what you want to do, what you want to have, blah blah blah. You can continue.
It's interesting you say that, because I've done a similar thing with music. So I'm not a big person on, not that I'm anti-lyrics, but I generally I know a lot of the songs I listen to, they're talking about trash. I mean, first of all, right? I know that they're talking about, you know, money and girls and whatever. It's like, it's not really anything that's really growth oriented. So that's probably part of the reason why I don't really necessarily listen to a lot of the lyrics. But I'm also very musically inclined in terms of the beat. So that's what I generally like. When I'm listening to music, a lot of time what I'm listening to is the beat, the drums, the bass, whatever. But I've seen there are songs that have lines, part of the lyrics I do recognize, and I will take their lyrics, make it what I want it to be, and then use it that way. So I'll find a line in the song, and I don't know what they're talking about. It doesn't really matter what they're talking about. But to me, when they say those words, I interpret it as something positive that I use as a motivation thing. So like, for example, one song, what was it? I guess what was it? Kanye West, Can't Tell Me Nothing. When I Get My Money Right. And I guess he is saying something positive, but the point is, I'm not even gonna spend the time to go and listen to the whole what he's saying. I just hear some stuff and I say, hey, that sounds like something positive, and in my brain I process it as, I'm not gonna worry about people telling me negative things, because I'm gonna do what I need to do to be successful, and then when I'm successful, you can't tell me nothing. Right, that's like, and maybe he's saying that, I don't know, I don't really care. Like you said, I take what I can gain from it and I leave the rest.
Yeah.
So if he's talking about, whatever, it could be violent, it doesn't matter, whatever he's talking about, I don't really pay attention. There's a trick with that though, especially when you listen to someone like Grant Cardone. I mean, it's easier for me to dismiss a song because it's really entertainment, but people like Grant Cardone are supposed to be teaching you, so it's a little bit more dangerous, because how do you know what to discount, right? Because I'm pretty sure he has more knowledge than you do in terms of what he's talking about, so you wouldn't be able to discern necessarily what he's saying that is incorrect. So he might say something that sounds good to you and like, oh yeah, let me do that, and actually it's nonsense. And now you've absorbed that. So I don't know how you could effectively decide what's good and what's not good. But what I will take from, I guess what I will do, because I may listen to some of those guys, is I may do like the music thing that I do. So sometimes the way they're talking, the energy, and you're like, you gotta do this, and you gotta tell yourself next year you're gonna buy a house, and I won't get into the details of maybe a strategy that they're recommending, but I will feed off of the hype of make it happen, whatever your plan is, and I take just that piece of it, and I take that and I come up with my own plan and take the energy from their talk and apply it to my own plan rather than me following their plan. So that's something that I will do. Or if what they're talking about is simple enough, that doesn't require, because again, if I'm listening to someone who knows more about a thing than I do, then it's tough for me to know what's good and what's not good. But if the concept is basic enough that I can have an opinion on and say, oh, that actually makes sense, then I might just take it. But one thing is for sure, I will not just sit there and absorb this stuff, because I'm conscious that they may be giving me wrong information. There's ulterior motives. So everything they tell me, I'm going to make an assessment of, whether I'm going to pay attention or not, because it's too many Ty Lopez running around. Ty Lopez. Yeah, knowledge. He's got $45 in his Lamborghini account or something. Oh my goodness. I tried the speed reading thing, not necessarily from him, but just I was trying to, I guess like you're looking for ways to learn and stuff, and I've been trying to, I guess people call them like hacks, body hacks or whatever, but I don't know, man, because again, and that's the thing that's challenging, and unfortunately I don't have necessarily good news to tell you, because obviously I'm a little bit older than you, and I've had a lot more experience dealing with this. But even at my stage, it's still challenging to weed through a lot of the nonsense. So, like this speed reading thing, you'll be surprised. Like there's some stuff that'll be nonsense and it'll be very popular, and you'd be, how could this be nonsense? Look at this guy, he's a famous guy and he's talking about it and it was on a TV show, but it'll still be nonsense. So like speed reading, I don't know if it's a legit thing or not. I hear people criticizing it, saying you can't really comprehend things adequately when you're reading fast, but I tried it, and I will continue to give it a shot. I mean, because if I can read twice as fast as I can do now and comprehend a decent amount of information, I can learn a lot of stuff more. right? Because you have limited time in every day. So the faster you can acquire knowledge, the faster you can learn and get your goals. So I'm always looking for ways to, enhancements kind of thing. So, but
yeah, I understand what you're trying to say.
If it works, I'll let you know. I'll share it with you guys.
Why not?
What I need to do is record a metric. Like I got to record how fast I'm reading now, and what the comprehension is, because there's actually online tests. So that's the way I would approach it. You can tell me all this mumbo jumbo, but I care about what's demonstrable. So if I can take a test online and I can read at a certain rate, a certain amount of information, and I can demonstrate a certain comprehension level of that material, and then after a couple months of increasing my learning speed, if I can maintain that same level of comprehension or more at reading at twice the speed, then to me that is proof that it works. Because the main thing is, are you comprehending? Reading faster, okay, fine, whatever. I see the techniques, I can see how it can work, but it's pointless if I'm not going to be comprehending what I'm reading, because then what's the point?
Yeah.
I guess what I'm skeptical about is if you see like how when you're learning something, it may be challenging because you're picking up a lot of information and you need to be able to understand what it is that you're reading. And if you're reading fast, I don't know how you do that, because when you're trying to learn something new, you may slow down even slower than your normal pace. Like your normal reading pace may be too fast for your brain, because you need to pause and think like, what did I just read? And what does this mean to me? And then you read it again and you think you understand, but you're not sure. You may read it a third time. So now you're reading at a third of your normal speed because you are trying to understand. But so the idea of speed reading doesn't seem to make sense with that in mind. But one of the things I learned about is that in speed reading, what you're supposed to do is you don't apply the same attention to everything. So you can slow down for things that require more attention, but there's a lot of things that don't require a high level of attention that you should be reading fast over. So the analogy I was given is, if you're driving a car, you're able to see in your mirror, on your left, on your right, you can see a lot of things. It's not like you're just seeing only in front of you. You can process all of this stuff and maybe have a conversation with someone in your car. You're listening to something on the radio, a lot of multitasking, and you can handle it, but you're not applying the same level of attention to everything. So that's how speed reading supposedly would work, where I'm not going to speed read through everything. There's going to be certain things that I need to take my time with. So for example, if I'm driving a car, I need to take my time with paying attention to what's in front of me, because that is the most critical area. But I can skim through everything else. I can skim through my peripheral vision and what you're saying to me as a passenger. Like, I'm not giving full attention to those things. So that's the concept. But again, I want to see the proof is in the pudding. I want to see it demonstrated, you know?
Yeah,
So.
I understand what you're trying to say.
Oh, before I run out, there was another thing that you said. You had another problem, or does this resolve all of the issues you were having with your code?
So with that in mind, yes. But if you're not clearing up or something, I might ask questions for a couple things about programming in life.
Well, it's a little bit late for that, so let's see if we can pick up tomorrow at some point in time.
Around what time?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, one of the things that I wanted to do, which will help the channel and help me to deliver better for you guys, is I for 2019, one of the goals is I'm supposed to come up with an official schedule, which is. Schedules are scary because, as you know, life happens, and I don't want to be scheduling and I don't do it. But yeah, that's another thing, and that's a strategy that I need to apply, where do it like a TV show where you do a lot of stuff ahead of time. So I don't have to be a slave to the channel where, oh shoot, it's Thursday, I got to do my Thursday video. Like I already have like a few Thursday videos queued up and I could just do publish, you know, but even that requires time. That means now you have to sit down and take a Saturday and I'm going to say I'm going to get 6 videos done. So that's 6 weeks worth of videos for one day. But what I wanted to mention to you in terms of to your question is in that vein, if I start doing scheduling stuff, then what I can do is, because you can schedule live streams, right? I can actually, when I do a live stream, I can schedule at what time it's going to begin. So therefore, if I do that normally, you will be able to come to the channel and see the schedule. You'll see what videos are going to be going live when.
Yeah.
Right? So that'd be a perfect thing. Like on your own, you could just go and let me go to the CPU channel and see when the next live stream is. And you say, oh, he's doing one tomorrow at 5. Okay, so I'll go and watch that one. I mean, further, if I have a normal schedule that you know, every Tuesday at such and such time, you know I'm live streaming, then you can look forward to it. But again, the trick there is, you know, when I get busy and I'm unable to meet that. But I think I have another strategy about that. There's a new thing called Premiere. I may use that as a backup. So let's say I'm supposed to stream on Fridays at 5 and Friday is crazy. I know there's no way I'm going to have time for it. Instead of doing a live stream, what I could do is one of my queued up videos, I can premiere it. So what that means is when that video will go live at the normal time. So at the normal time, you will see a video published and it will be sort of live in terms of it'll have a live chat. So you can engage with other subscribers. And if I'm able, I will join as well, because it's a lot easier for me to jump into a chat of a premiering video than for me to actually bring up a live stream. Because, for example, I can do that from anywhere. If I'm going to be on the road so I can't do the live stream, I can certainly jump into the chat on my phone for a little bit and engage with you guys. So that's going to allow me to, like, that'll be very powerful, because normally without that, if I have a crazy Friday, I'm going to have to be like, hey guys, I can't do the stream today. But with this, I could say, you know, I'll do a premiere instead. So you get a video, you know, but all of that still is very dependent on, I have to queue up videos. I have to spend the time and do a whole bunch of episodes, which honestly, I have some already, but I need a system, you know, because what I've been doing is I've been coming up with things like, oh, let me do a video about this thing, like something I just learned or whatever, but I don't have a system in place. So I don't even know how many videos I have queued up. Right? It's a whole system, you know. People think it's just like you just get online and just post videos, but it's like I'm running a program, a show, right? So you have scheduling and, you know, all this kind of stuff. It's so you gotta put in the time, you know. So I just need to do that. But I really appreciate your help, man, Igor. If I could find 100 of you, like, we'll be 100,000 subscribers by 2020. You know, because
one thing, if I may, if you was in my shoes and you had, let's say, this book and all the free time in one day, what would you do to make the best of your time to master Python enough so that you can earn a learning by freelancing or anything else like that?
Well, I would be doing what I told you to do, which is you should have, since the last time that we spoke about this, you should have been working on your design for your health app.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that's something that, keep in mind, that does not require any it does not require any Python knowledge for you to work on your design, because Like for example, let's look at a software development cycle, right? Most times the software design is not going to come from a developer, right? So it's going to come from somebody who doesn't know how to code. It's going to come from the business side, right? The business side is going to identify a strategic need in the market. So for example, they have identified that most people are starting to use these tax programs to do their taxes, and they're running into a certain problem where the tax app doesn't take into account certain things, so they end up doing a lot of work themselves. So then it's like, okay, so either you're going to create a product that's going to identify or going to resolve that issue, or you're going to create a better tax app, right? You're going to say the competition, they are not good enough. They've done a good job, but they're missing something that there's a market for. So they're going to sit down and say, okay, so we want a tax calculating program that will do this, that, and that. If you click on this, it should show you a menu that's going to give you options based on your income levels. If you click on this, right? So that's somebody who doesn't know anything about programming, who is just simply sitting down and designing, what is the purpose of this program, what kind of options it's going to have, how it's going to function. So these are things that you can do now. You don't need any programming knowledge, right? And you can do that every single day, because again, you have all the knowledge you need. You know about fitness. You know about you have an understanding of what people are doing that have fitness goals, and so you can certainly identify issues. Like that's the focus. Like, what is the problem? What are people complaining about? Everybody keeps complaining about how hard it is to this, how hard it is to that. Setting my meal plan, it's a pain in the butt. I have to go and well, here's an example, and I don't know if someone's resolved this adequately, but here's a problem that I ran into talking about meal plans. You have these apps that tracks your calories, but it's a pain in the butt. Like it needs to be seamless, man. I don't want to be like I'm a scientist, right? I'm just trying to maximize my workout. I don't want to spend a lot of time writing down ingredients and all this kind of stuff. Like in a perfect world, I want to be able to, and I know some of this stuff has already been invented or whatever, but I want to be able to, if I buy a drink, I simply open up my app and I press a button. It takes a picture of the barcode and it's like, boop, boop, 300 calories, this amount of sugar, done. Right? And that's easy. That's the easier part, but the harder part, which I don't know how people have done this, what solutions are out there, but the harder part is something that you cannot scan. So for example, if I am to go into my fridge right now and prepare something, so I make a sandwich or I make some pasta, so now I'm gonna go and get some spaghetti, and then I'm gonna go get I have some diced tomatoes in the cupboard. Like, okay, let me use this. So I'm making my own custom thing. It's not something you bought in a store. It's something that I'm making. So now, how many calories is this thing? Like you
don't want to put the food and count the grams. I do that. You probably don't want to do that, right?
I don't want to do what?
You don't want to put food on a scale and see how many grams it has and type every time when you do it. Well,
yeah, yeah, I don't have any time for that, and I think one of the potential solutions, but these are the types of things like how, in terms of how you should be thinking, and this is what a developer does. Like and I may be using, I'm very sensitive to using words properly, because I understand people throw developer around versus programmer. Let me actually look at that right now. So define developer. I'm always open to being incorrect and learning and growing. So developer, it says a person that develops something. You know what? Let me actually look up the specific question. So difference between program. There we go. Perfect. Came right up. So a programmer, it says, this is good because I think I've been throwing these words around, and it's time that I stop doing that, because now you guys are listening to me and maybe picking up bad habits. So it says, while the terms can be and often are interchangeable, a developer is someone who's involved in the whole process from requirements gathering through specification and coding to testing and support. That's interesting. They might, yeah, that's right, because during support, you developer definitely are involved at some point. If it's something that cannot be resolved, it's something complex enough that might be a bug in the code, then obviously you need developers to investigate. So troubleshooting and support is part of development function. So it says a programmer is someone who just concentrates on coding and has little involvement in the rest of the process. That's interesting. So developer seems to be more engaged in the full life cycle, as opposed to a programmer appears to be just a coder. So I guess what we're talking about is you being a developer, right? So you're coming up with your requirements. But so what I was saying is, as a developer, one of the things that you will need to do is to be able to problem solve. So it's like, here's the problem, and this is what might happen. Like, once you get to the point where you have the skill set to actually be hired to do stuff, like this is a real scenario. Like, you're hired by a company that does fitness software, right? And they say to you, listen, we want to develop a fitness app that makes it easy for you to enter custom meals into some kind of a calorie tracking system. And they can show you, here's a competition, this is how they're doing it, this is why we don't like it, it takes too much time, we want something, and they give you like a specific requirement. We want you to be able to enter a custom meal within 10 seconds or 5 seconds. Like, they'll give you a time frame. I mean, if you don't think you can do it in that time, then fine, you can negotiate, but they're going to give you some kind of a guideline, like this is what we want. And then you need to sit down and think to yourself, okay, so what are the different ways that we can think about approaching this problem? How can we get the calorie information? So you can say things like, okay, we can take a precision approach where we want to be really precise. So if I'm using this Campbell's diced tomatoes, so we want to look at what Campbell says is in their thing, right? Or we can do a more generalized approach where we don't need that level of precision to, for it to be effective for your meal planning and your fitness goals. So we can just say that, forget about Campbell's and the specifics. This is pasta with tomatoes, cheese, and salt. And then have the thing give you a general average, figures. It's not going to be perfect, right? Maybe the tomatoes you use are high protein or something, you know what I mean? And you might be missing that, which would be actually bad if you're doing a protein diet. But that's what you need to figure out. Like, does that work? Can you go with that strategy of sort of cheating by making the person able to pick general item descriptions in terms of meal descriptions, or will you have to find a really efficient method of getting the accurate information for each meal? And one way to do that is, again, that's what the developer is doing. You, in your mind, coming up with suggestions. So here's a suggestion that I could think of. It's possible, you'd have to do your research, it's possible that people generally have a certain menu. So meaning, do people really vary the types of things that they buy in terms of what they have in their fridge and their cupboard? Do they really vary that much, or is it possible that 90% or 95% of what they would ever have in a given year in their fridge or cupboard is pretty much 90% it's the same things? Because if that's the case, then maybe there's a strategy where you could have an inventory. Like at one point in time, you grow an inventory of items that this person purchases. So therefore, you can leverage that inventory when they're building a custom meal. So when I do the diced tomatoes, it's like, okay, you generally buy Campbell's diced tomatoes, right? So either it's going to assume that it's that one that you normally buy, or it can ask you, like, it's going to give you an option of like, hey, these are the types of diced tomatoes that you normally buy, right? And then there's another thing. If there's something that's tracking your purchasing, how about that? When you go shopping, if there's some way, somehow you can link that to the app, so the app knows what you have. It's actually has an active inventory, because whenever you buy groceries, the app is made aware of these items. So if you go and you make a custom meal, it will refer to your actual inventory of food. You see what I mean? So these are kinds of things that you need to sit down and take your notes, and like, we could go this way, that way, that way. And then you need to make an assessment of which strategy you think is the best strategy, have a backup strategy as well. And then you could come back to the business side and say, hey, what about, I think we should do it this way. And based on going this way, this would be the results. And then they can come back and tell you that works or it doesn't work. And then you work it out, and then when you have a plan that everybody agrees on, then you can actually start getting into the design of the language you're going to use, the programming constructs, and like, how will you actually build this thing? You have the concept, but now how will you actually put it together? You know what I mean? So take that as far as you can go. If you can only go as far as the initial design in terms of how the application will function, what is its purpose, why you think it is something that people want, like all these business questions, you can answer them and come up with at least a feature list. Like, what are all the features that your application will feature? So and then that's step one, right? And then in the meantime, in parallel, you continue to learn Python, right? So you go through the lessons, and one good thing is this Epic Hello World. I think you can learn a lot from that, because we're starting with something very basic and we're building it and getting it more and more complex. What I would say to you, something that I do as well that you may want to do is, like, if you see, I have folders that I have a folder called Brain. So it's short for brainstorm. And what I like to do is I'll go into that folder and I do experimentation. So I'm not going to build an entire product, but I just want to play around with an idea. So for example, so I'm thinking to myself, one day I want to write something that can appear to speak to you like Siri. Well, not really like Siri, but I want something that's like, hey Igor, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. How was your day? What did you do today? It's like, I went to the gym. Oh, you went to the gym. What kind of workout did you do today? Oh, I did arms. Oh, you did arms last Friday. How did that? You know what I mean? That kind of thing, where it's
That's creepy.
right. It's almost like a conversational, right? So if that's something that intrigues you, you might have an idea of how you could do something like that, and then you go into your brainstorm folder and try something out.
Yeah, I did.
But it's not a full program. You just the idea is to experiment with potentially a singular concept. So maybe the concept is randomizing responses that are somehow triggered based on context. So it whenever you say something to the program, it will examine all the words that you used and somehow does some kind of checking for to make a connection between. So like, for example, you say you went to the gym, so somehow you have a database that has records that refers to information about the gym. So maybe you have information regarding previous times you went to the gym. So it can look in there for a potential answer. You know what I mean? So you have an idea of how that could work, and then you sit down and you try it out. Like, let me do this thing. I'm gonna set a list, and then I'm gonna use the random function, and then I'm going to, blah, blah, blah. And then, so the point is to keep doing that all the time. So you don't have to and there's different approaches to learning, right? You don't have to build a whole program, but you can learn a lot of different things. Like if you do that and it works, so you don't have a full program, but you have the logic. You have a workable logic that allows you to do this randomized conversational responses thing, right? Then maybe you want to develop something that does some kind of math for you in a very efficient manner. So like I did this before. I did something where it was salary related, and if you said to it like 40, it would assume you mean per hour. You're referring to $40 per hour, and then it would automatically just give you like a monthly income and an annual income. So it's very smart. Like you give it very minimal information and it makes assumptions based on probability. Like the number 40 in context of salary, it definitely couldn't be, you're not making $40 a year. You wouldn't make $40 a month, right? So there's certain deduction. It's like, so you're probably talking about an annual rate. So I'm going to assume that either I'm going to confirm or not confirm. And then I'm going to give you back these, these factors. So that's just an idea I had, and I sat down and I built it, right? And I learned from that. Every time I have an idea of some kind of a concept like that, and I go and I figure it out and I build it, that adds to my knowledge. So in the future, when I'm actually building something for real, I can be like, oh, remember that thing that I did with the salary thing? I could do something like that. And then I go into my brain folder and I grab my own code and I pick out the reverse engineer it, and I put it into my new thing. You know what I mean? So these are the types of things, like in order for you to build a complex program, you need to have all the building blocks. So that's going through the lessons, right? That's planning this design, so figuring out how it's going to work. And that's also learning different concepts. So don't be limited to like my Python implant track or some other course. Go on your own, like explore, have an idea, have something that, I want to try this, I want to try that. Keep exploring and trying and researching and learning. So you have three different things going. Your design for your application, you're going through a course, whether it's my implant video or another one, and you're also randomly building little pieces of code to do little things. And why I like that is because it's easy for me to build something that does one thing. I don't have to build a whole program and I have to do all this stuff. It's just one thing. Count, remember names, tell me when I enter a city, give me the name of the state and the governor of that state or whatever. Like whatever it is, like different things. Come up with different little things that you can build. And there's lots of information online, man. You go online, you do your research, you figure out one little piece, you get stuck, you try something else, you get stuck. Maybe you scratch it and start from scratch with a different plan. But just keep learning, man. Keep learning, keep trying. That's the way you're gonna do it. And the more you do that, you're just gonna get more and more proficient, and then you're gonna get surprised. You're like, whoa, I actually know this stuff. Like 2 months ago, I didn't know what I was doing. I remember I was on the CPU live stream, and I put the import on the same line with the shebang. I didn't know what I was doing. No, it's yeah, I know. No, but seriously, that's what happens. You look back and you're like, wow, I really didn't know what I was doing at all. And it's a learning process, and even to give you another context, like in the industry that I'm in, look at me, I'm the guy almost 20 years, but it's hard for me to use the word expert. I might use the word expert as a marketing thing if I'm doing something that, you know, I need to identify myself. But in reality, I find that a hard title to achieve because, you know, the stuff that I do is always very proprietary. Every environment I'm in, it's proprietary stuff. And it's so complex that, you know, as much as I learn, there's so much more to learn. It never stops. It never ends. So it's like I'm forever a student. You know, 20 years and still going. Right? You're always learning something new, right?
Yeah.
So it's good.
Who's gonna speak? Me or you?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I want to tell you one thing. There's this guy. He's 1 year younger than me, and he works with C++, or maybe even C. Right now he's working with C++. So this dude is actually like the bomb. He's like, I don't know how
right?
I'm gonna spit this out. He's probably a prodigy.
So
I think he's programming
good?
for like 4 years. I think maybe more. Who knows? So this dude is this good. I'm gonna explain. There was a competition, like a tournament, and maybe like a country thing. There was like, I don't know, maybe like 300 people. You know, one of the, you know, the best. Not anyone could go. I'm boasting. I don't know the exact information now, but this how I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
So it had like 2 hours to finish the algorithms, the fixing the problem, etc. This dude, I know him actually in life. We hung out. He was there maybe like 10-15 minutes, maybe even less. He got up, put the paper, got all the freaking points. Like,
wow.
I'm out. So I'm scratching my head. So yeah, I'm so impressed with what I see, but I'm speechless. I actually hang out with this dude. Sometimes even work out. He's very successful with the things he does. I don't know. He has a great mentality. Like, this is him. His mentality is for programming. He told me, whenever you have time to program, you should program. It's like that simple. What are you doing? Nothing. Program. You know. That's it. If you're not sleeping, program and program. And I'm like, nice.
Yeah, I mean it's a constant process. I think one thing I would warn you about is, in terms of a mistake that I've made in the past, is, you know what, and you can relate to this with your physical fitness stuff, right? Similar to physical fitness. This is a problem that people deal with as well, where you will be on a routine 3 days a week, working out, and then you get sick or something. So you skip a week, and then you get better, but then you're no longer in the habit anymore. So the next thing, 1 week becomes 2 weeks, and then the next thing is 3 weeks. Next thing, a month has gone by, and you haven't gone to the gym. So it's a similar thing with coding, to where, especially when you're newer, where you could spend a lot of time, like Mega Noob. I don't know where Mega Noob has been. Has been AWOL for a while. But and I understand things happen, life happens. But you so you're starting something new. You're excited, and you spend a lot of time. You make a lot of progress. And then, just like with the gym, you know, you let 1 day go by and you don't do any Python. 2 days go by. Next thing you know, you haven't done any Python in 3 months. And some of the stuff that you were starting to figure out, you've now forgotten, because you were just in your brain. Your brain was just starting to formulate and comprehend certain things. But before those connections were made, you stepped away and you allowed what little that you had to fade away. So I'm not saying you forget everything, but certainly you end up going backwards, because when you stopped, you were further ahead than you are now 3 months later that you haven't been doing anything. So now you have to spend time catching up and then progressing. And then if you keep doing that, you know, now it's like 2 years have gone by and you really haven't made much progress. So it's discipline, I guess, is the word. Discipline is very, very important, where you not only start aggressively, but you've got to maintain it. You're human. You may have your bad times, but you've got to be able to fight your way back. Where I missed a couple days, that's fine. I'm human. But you know what? Today, I am doing Python no matter what. Even if it's 5 minutes, I've got to do it. That's the only way. If you do not take that sort of attitude, then that's how you end up with like months going by. That's what I did. And because I started learning Python a long time ago, I should be much further along than I am now. But because of the stopping and going, it made it take longer and I had to go backwards and forwards. So do not do that at all. Keep going forward.
I'll give an example. I work out like every week, and so it happened before the new year, right? The gym was closed. I did train home pulling because I have, you know, hello, but I don't have the dip stations. So I was like, meh, what you gonna do, right? I ain't gonna go to the cold, to the rain, bring my kettlebells, and nope. So like I rested for 1 week without dips, and when I went to the gym and I did my weighted dips, it was like, did I do this before, right? Is this a new exercise or something? You know, your body is like, I never did that. So yeah, the feeling, you sometimes even lose strength because the feeling is not natural anymore. So I get what you're saying. You should be like consistent every time, and if you're like tired or something, don't want to do like max out on programming or like in training, lower the volume and just do it. Keep doing it.
Yeah, and I think another big message, and see that's something I think I need to incorporate into the schedule. You know, and while I'm talking about, and this is, you know what, I'm gonna practice what I preach right now. Like I'm sitting here and talking about this stuff, and you know, you can talk until the cows come home, as they say, and then you can actually do. So as I'm talking about it, I'm gonna actually write something down right now. Like I need to formulate a 2019 schedule, and a couple of things that I want to address is so today I didn't do my video. I actually have a video. I guess I could post it. I have a video for today. So today's supposed to be Tuesdays. It's off topic Tuesdays. So you remember you talked about like catchy titles and stuff like that.
Yes.
So on Tuesdays, I give myself an ability to talk about anything, so that I'm able to maintain that this is programming. So I talk about programming, but on one day, I can talk about anything. So it doesn't have to be not programming. It's just there's no rule, not no rules, but I mean, for the most part, if something is of interest to me, I'll talk about it, whether it's politics, whatever, workout, my skateboard, you know what I mean? So let me just write that down. So Tuesdays is off topic. I shouldn't really focus on the days, but more the content. So off topic Tuesday, and then I want a day for engagement. I think I tried engagement Friday. So that's like a day where I go live and I read comments. Just basically engage, you know, conversational. I'm not really teaching. I'm like, hey guys, what are you guys up to? And you know, Igor was asking a question on Wednesday. Let's talk about it. Mega Noobs was dealing with some problem. Let's talk about it, you know. Or you guys were complaining. A lot of people are complaining that I don't do enough videos. So let's talk about doing more, you know, whatever it is. Like it's like our meeting in a way, right? So engagement, I don't know what day, but whatever, engagement day. Let's call it engagement day. Engagement day. That sounds like marriage or something. Engagement. That's you know what? I bet you there's a culture that actually does that, where like the engagement is actually like an event. Like there's engagement day. Like when you become engaged, like it's a whole thing, and your family has to be there, and then you have like drinks. I bet you somewhere in the world that's a thing. I don't know where, but I'm pretty sure someone does that. Say again?
I hope they're only drinking water.
Yeah, and you were supposed to tell me I need to learn something in your language.
Oh, okay.
Like what? It would be like I mean, what I'm normally saying is like good morning, buongiorno, dobre. Yeah. So what's a good morning and a good afternoon?
Good morning is just listen and try to say it like quality. Jutro is dobar dan. Dobar means good, and jutro meaning morning. So
what language is that?
Serbian.
You say it again?
Dobro jutro.
It sounds very similar to dobre utro.
Well, maybe that's Russian.
Yeah, Russian. Yeah. Is it similar to Russian?
Similar, but we do not understand each other. Some words are very like the same, but we do not understand each other. We can understand Bosnian people and Croatians and maybe some Macedonians. I don't know how do you say Macedonian. I don't know. And those.
Do you say like dobre noche?
Like good night.
Dobre noche?
We don't say that. We say what are you trying to say? Like good night?
Good night.
No. We say laku noć.
Say it again?
Laku noć.
Oh, you don't say the dobre, huh? Dobre only for the morning.
Yeah, it's good morning is dobro jutro, because good morning. So good is dobro, jutro is morning, and we have a night which is noć. And then laku noć. Laku means, well, laku doesn't mean, I think, I don't know. Lako is easy, and noć is night. So like easy night, good night. Have an easy night. Laku noć.
Well, I'm gonna need some time to pick that one up, but
oh my god, some reader disliked their video.
What, this one?
Yep.
Who did that?
I think someone's shadow watching you. Like you probably have one person. Like it says 2 watching now. There are 2 likes. I don't know who liked the first, but I'm 1 like, and then now, like all of a sudden, a dislike. I'm like,
well, somebody was just on the live stream within the last 10 minutes ago for a short period of time and disappeared. I can see it gives you the graph of like over time. So I can see in the beginning we had 4 people, and then I guess it was just you and I, and then see, somebody jumped on at 11. So that was like 5 minutes ago. Somebody who jumped on for a short period of time and disappeared. Oh, they just came back. Hey, how you doing?
shadow watching us.
Thanks for the thumb down, whoever you are. I see you. Anyway.
Again, I'm gonna do
huh?
If they thumb down this again, they gonna do some push-ups.
Yeah, if you click on the thumb down again, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. You're gonna do some push-ups. Anyway, so, and I gotta be careful because I don't want to add too many days, because that's the more days I'm adding, like then I'm getting into like it's too much. So we're looking at 2 days right now.
Just that.
I'm sorry?
1 or 2 days. Just bring in quality. You don't have to like have quantity. don't train yourself out. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think a tutorial day, an off-topic day, and an engagement day.
Sounds good.
Off-topic is easy because I'm just talking about anything, so that's not a stressful thing. Just pick something interesting, do a video about it, and be done with it. The real work is the tutorials. And engagement is easy too. I'm just engaging, right? I'm just gonna read comments, answer questions. That's casual. So in terms of like the requirement, the main thing is the tutorial. So essentially the real work is one video per week where it's a tutorial, where that's the work. The rest of the stuff is more casual. So I think that can work. So I need a day for tutorials, a day for off topic and engagement. And then I would say unlimited unscheduled days. Obviously more is better. If I can do a fourth video, because the algo likes me to post more videos, right? But I'm not going to hold myself to more than 3. So 3 videos, that's the only thing that people can expect. But if I got something else I want to share, you know, I'll post it. I'll post it whenever, and any day, doesn't matter. Ideally, probably not on a day that's already scheduled, so you're not getting 2 videos in one day. But I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I just need to figure out what day is what. I think engagement, I was thinking Friday is a day for that, end of the week. In the future, I may look at doing a how about a monthly vlog to start? Because I want to get you guys, because that's one of the mistakes I made. Like on YouTube, you cannot just, and that's actually a big mistake I made with my channel. That's one of the reasons why I didn't get as far. I got big views because people enjoyed the content, but my numbers were not consistent. Like if I post a video, even, I mean, now it's in a bad state, but even before, when it was in a better state, I still couldn't post and get an average number. Basically, my channel for years has been a hits only channel. So meaning, unless I do a video that's really good and it's something that has a lot of demand, I'm not gonna get any significant views. So it's all or nothing. There's no like standard like, oh, I posted a video so my subscribers gonna check and see. That wasn't the case. So one of the reasons for that is because I was just posting great videos, but it was like there wasn't really much me, right? To be successful on YouTube, like it needs to be personal as well. So I need to be not just showing you guys these different things or whatever. There needs to be a, you know, like, who am I? You know, what do I do for fun? You know, so that's where the vlogs may come in handy. So maybe to start, do like a monthly vlog, so I don't have to do every weekend, and I'll be on the weekends. So once a month, I do a vlog where, you know, I may go skateboarding or go for a ride on a motorcycle or yeah. Yeah, that's a challenging one, because I know that would be of interest, but you know, privacy stuff, it makes it.
Of course, you should keep this. You should keep your privacy like with yourself and not with YouTube. But
there's a way I could get around that somehow. I don't know. Like that's the thing I was thinking about, where somehow I can incorporate that, but without it being too much. So, you know, what's that?
Give us some tips.
Yeah. So anyways, that's the basic framework for 2019. So 3 days a week, unlimited random, and I guess I'll take this out of this video so I can have this for my notes as well. Unlimited random, and those would have to be programming for sure, because only one day is off topic. Random monthly vlog. Oh, we got to do more interviews too. Well, that could be one of the randoms. So random video could be a tutorial, could be an interview, a tip,
No.
any kind of knowledge that's computer related. So what about news?
Well, what news? Like media news or news about updates with languages?
Programming, like there's a new library, there's a new machine learning library.
Yeah, it's actually very good. Like people actually need updates.
There's a new book that came out, a new Python book everybody's talking about.
Oh, is it good?
No, I'm just saying, like stuff like that.
I just believed you.
No, it's just so actually I'll tell you a funny story. I bought a Python book which is highly recommended. I don't know where it is. I've been looking for it for months now. It's called Learn Python the Hard Way.
Oh, hell no.
I don't know where it is. It's supposed to be a great book. That was back in the day when I was dabbling. I was kind of like, oh, I want to learn Python, like you probably do. I was like, I want to learn Python, and then I would do a little stuff, and then I would stop, and then I just really wasn't progressing. So I ended up with
Not be broke.
not what?
Not be broke.
Well, you got to put in the work, man. Monthly vlog.
Here's like a plan. Learn programming, or how do you say this?
I tell you what, and this is a goal for 2019, which I'm a little disappointed with what's happening with me now, because it's pushing back my plans, because one of the things I wanted to do is I want to build this community, right? I'm doing too much on my own. So one of the things was I want to hire you guys. Like here you are, and I don't know how would I even pay you? Like you are in, how would that work?
If you want to pay people around other countries, they have to have like bank accounts, and you have to, I don't know, PayPal them or something.
Well,
All the banks is gonna take cut.
we'll figure that out. But you know, there's certain things that I need help with that I could hire, you know, people, you know, some of my subscribers to get involved in, whether it's marketing, managing some parts of the channel, like research, for example, right? Somebody like this could be a job where all you do is research topics, right? You go around, you see what's going on, you know, what you know, like see what videos are being posted about programming, read the comments, and try to identify something that there's a demand. Like people are doing videos about machine learning, right? And every video you go to, you look at the comments, and a ton of people are saying, oh man, I wish you would have done X, Y, and Z, right? Over and over again, right? Yeah, especially Z. So you say, hey, there's a demand. There's a bunch of people that are out there that are looking for something that's not being delivered. And you come to me and you say, hey, machine learning videos are doing well, but people are complaining about such and such. So then I'll do one and I'll have what people are asking for, right? So something like that. Identify something that is a... so you'd also want to be able to... And I can train you about certain things. So for example... you need to understand about research on trends. So, you know, using Google Trends, knowing how to use that, knowing how to look up keywords and identify trends and make an analysis in terms of maybe something is not quite trending yet, but you think it's going to be trending. So sort of forecasting, because that way the video could be put out before it's trending. So it's first type of thing. Engineering truth. What is it? Getting fired? What does it say? Getting fired? What?
Getting fired from Tesla was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. There's also collaboration. So I want to help other channels as well. So
I'll just be a bodyguard for your channel.
a bodyguard? You're gonna kick people?
Of course.
I think maybe in the engagement day, maybe I could give you guys some recommendations on some channels that I like. Like what am I watching, right? What videos am I watching? That could be part of that episode. So I'm gonna read your comments, answer questions, and I'm gonna let you guys know, like, this week what have I been looking at. I watched this great video on a lecture on blah blah blah. It's really good. You guys should take a look at it. Maybe we'll look at a little bit of it and then I give you guys a link. Have fun, you know, something like that. So I think it's what's important as well is I want to build at least a small initial audience, because it's like my channel is almost 100% shadow banned right now. Like no one sees my notifications. They don't see my videos. I would like at least to have a little squad of, let's say, 30 people. Huh?
I said 100.
I mean, that'd be better, but I'm being a little bit realistic. So let's say 30 people that are actively engaged. So we have our little community, right? Because, for example, engagement day, I mean, right now we probably have at most 5 people that would be in that live stream.
I'll get you maybe 2. I'll slap them around. They have to watch that.
So it would be much better if there's more people involved, so it's not just me sitting there and talking about whatever. So I've got to figure out a way that we can secure our initial audience. Unfortunately, I don't have the latitude to really spend a lot of time on that, but advertising might be the way to go. Put together like a trailer and then advertise on YouTube. Oh, forums. Are you part of any forums?
No.
You should definitely join programmer forums. That way you have an additional resource. You have questions. Those guys like to help new people. So you go and you say, vegan. You can ask them questions like, hey, I'm trying to develop this this fitness app, and I wasn't sure how I could scan those codes. What do you call it? What is it called? QRC codes or whatever. Like, has anyone done any programs with scanning QRC codes, like how that works? And then people can help you out, right? Yeah. An additional advantage there is that's an opportunity for marketing, right? So if you join a forum and you become an active member of that forum, then what you do is every once in a while you share a video that you like, right? Now, if you keep sharing from the same channel, people are going to be suspicious that that's what you're doing. You're there trying to do free marketing, because those websites, the forums, they usually will have like they charge where you can advertise. So the way around that is that you just honestly share videos that you like from different, channels and whatever. And then, every once in a while in rotation, a CPU video pops in. Right? So no one can say that you're sitting there secretly, whatever. It's just, you're just sharing videos. And I think a good trick with that I've done in the past is look for viral videos. And I know it's tricky. I don't know what a viral video is in programming, but whatever. Try to find something that's trending and be fast. Like something that a new video will launch today that's like viral or popular or whatever, and jump and grab the link and post it in there. Because if it's a hot video, then people in the forum are going to want to watch it, right? And then if you're building your reputation, like you post really cool videos. So then when you slip in CPU video, it's just, no one notices, whatever. But yeah, that's something that would be beneficial, mutually beneficial. It'll help you and it'll help the channel as well. But I got to figure out a strategy to do that, because it's kind of ridiculous right now. Like I've lost all of my audience. And the other thing is notifications. You're not getting them, so.
Dude, I'm not getting notifications from anything. YouTube is retarded.
What I want to do in the future is I have a contact management service, which I foolishly am not using. So in the future, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be promoting text me, not text me, but text on your phone, like CPU squad or something, right? And when you do that, you get added to my mailing list automatically. Right? And then the trick with that is, because it's great that I have your emails now, so now I can directly communicate with the audience. And now, you know, screw YouTube, because YouTube, now you cannot shadow ban me, right? Because now I have my own audience, right? I can take them to a website, and whenever I post a video, regardless of algorithm, you guys are going to see it. But the trick with that is, you guys can leave the list at any time. So I don't want to use it for every video. So what I would do is I would focus on the hottest videos only. So therefore, you know, you guys will stay on the list. You know, so when I post something, when you get an email from me, from the mailing list, you know, it's my machine learning tutorial or something. It's the stuff that I know you guys love and you guys want to see. Other stuff, I'll rely on the notifications. So anyway, it's past your bedtime. It's past my bedtime.
How is it past your bedtime? You're like in the morning.
It's 11:30 at night.
Wait, what? How? Oh yeah, well. Oh man, I'm not thinking straight.
I don't know when I'm gonna do a live stream tomorrow. You know what? I think when you see, if I schedule a live stream, I think when you go to my channel page, you're gonna see it. It'll show as like scheduled for 5 hours from now or something like that. So I think check the channel page in the morning. I mean, you're probably gonna get up so late now.
Yeah, you'll be like waking up, I think. Right? Yeah, you'll be waking up.
Really?
So if it's 11 now at your place, let's say it's 12. It's 5:33 in the morning. So, you know, 6 hours.
Wait, really?
Yes.
You're not that. How come you're not that far from my time? It's just 6 hours difference.
Well, it's 5:33 a.m. I live in Serbia. You know where that is, I think. It's like
I guess obviously you're not that far if you're only 6 hours away. Let me see Serbia. I mean, obviously it's not that close either, but it's not as far as I think.
Yo, you're in America, man.
Because I'm thinking you're like 12 hours difference or something crazy like that.
Nah, man. Ain't no Mexican. Just kidding.
Mexico. Wait a minute, so you're further than Italy and you're still only 6 hours? Wow.
Of course, man.
Where? I typed it in and the map is showing basically Europe. I don't see, oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, where's Serbia? I'm seeing everything else. I'm seeing like Croatia. You're pretty far, dude.
Yep. Can't rate me.
Romania, Bosnia, Kosovo.
Oh man.
What's up with Kosovo?
What's up with Kosovo? What you wanna know, man?
Is it dangerous there?
I wouldn't say it's BS.
And Albania.
No one's going there. That's what I'm about, man.
Albania?
Same. I don't know, man. It's basically a lot of my people hate those people, you know? A lot.
The Kosovos and the Albanians? Wow. I don't know what you call them. Kosovanians? Kosovonians?
No, of course.
What do you call them? Kazakhs? Kozos?
We say Albanci, which means Albanians. We never say Kosovanians or whatever, because no one even talks about that BS. People today don't want to say that that's part of Albania because the Americans bombed us for no apparent reason.
You're so close to Italy, dude.
I'm close to Italy.
Have you ever been there?
Dude, I'm broke. Yo, you're speaking to someone who's in one of the poorest countries you'll ever probably meet.
You can take a bus.
What?
There's no bus?
I never left my country. Like, if I left my country once, you can slap me, man.
So you've been in Serbia all your life?
One time I've been in Montenegro, maybe twice, because at that time my parents, like, you know, summer, the ocean, blah blah blah, you know that, for 7 days. It's like a trip. It happened when I was a little boy, and never again. So we're pretty much broke. No one goes anywhere. My mom is, I don't know, gonna suicide. I don't know. My dad's not working.
Wow.
Anything. I'm just trying to, like, I don't know, get away, make a living, be rich. Goodbye. I don't want to live in this crap country because you can't live here. Everyone's trying to go to Germany to like, I don't know how to say this, but they go like they go illegally there, learn the language, and the job is to housekeep the grandmas that you know, maybe take a dump in their pants, you clean it up, etc. for 1,000 euros. And when you come to Serbia, you make a rich man, because that's a lot of money. Because here you maybe get 200 euros, maybe you even don't get paid for hard jobs. So
But are you saying you go there and save the money and bring it back?
that would be the best thing you can do for yourself if you live in my country. Go to Germany, learn German, you know, housekeep old people for months. If you come in Serbia again, you'll be rich, because that's a lot of money.
How long do you have to be in Germany to accumulate a lot of money for Serbia?
6 weeks. If you don't have a passport of other countries around Serbia, you can work for 6 weeks. Then you rest for 6 weeks, but when you work 6 weeks, you get 1,000 or 1,200 euros for housekeeping the grandma. You have to be all the time with her. You have to do everything.
You know, you know, it sucks that YouTube is such a broken website, because YouTube in theory could be a very, very exciting opportunity for you, because the cost of living is so low where you are. Like, you're talking about, like you mentioned to me before, like $30,000. Like, that's nothing. So if that kind of money, what's that?
You think it's nothing, but it's actually huge.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If 30,000 is a lot of money, then that means that, you know, like, because YouTube doesn't really pay that much for most people, but relative to, you know, what you can make where you are, you know, that could be significant. Like, you know, like, say for example, even if you made $600 a month extra, I don't know what that is in your money. Like, what is 600 US in, what's your money?
Dinars, man. We're retarded.
Dinars?
Yeah.
So 600 US to dinars.
I think it's like 90 dinars or maybe 100. 100 dinars is €1.
Is it BHD? Is that the symbol for your?
BHD.
It says Bahraini dinar.
Wait, it's RSD.
RSD?
Yeah. Republic Serbian dinars. I would say that.
USD to RSD. Okay. Oh, Serbian dinar. Okay.
Oh, see.
So that means that $600. Wow. So that would be what is it giving me? That would be 62,376 dinars.
Yep. Then you're rich.
What could you do with that?
Oh, how do you do that? You can pay your bills and have a lot of money for yourself. And
What,
it's a lot, man.
what do you mean, like a month?
A lot.
That's a month of bills?
No. You can pay the bills, have a lot of money still for yourself. If you have $600 a month, that's a lot of money. Anything.
No, I'm saying 62. What could you do with 62,000? You said bills, but you're not saying what kind of bills. Is that for a month of bills or what? So 62,000 dinars.
Listen, if you live alone, you would probably pay around, I'm guessing, not more than $50 for all bills. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You would be rich with $600 a month. But
US.
yes, but sometimes it's not only $50 to pay for the bills, because maybe you're living with someone and someone's taking all of the water. Someone's, maybe it's winter and someone's like trying to warm up your apartment, and it costs a lot.
I don't think you're telling me something right, because according to what you're saying, you're giving me the impression that you could live for a year on $600 US. That can't be the case.
No, listen.
Because you said $30,000, like that's good money to make in a year, right?
That's a lot.
Because this is twice that.
$600.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. You're saying 30,000 US
Yes.
is enough to live. That's a lot of money.
I'm just gonna do this. My mother makes 400 euros, and this is because she's working maybe 20 or more years in some
Euros.
in some court, blah blah blah. Wait, I'm just gonna do this, the math, even though I suck at the math. So this is it. My mother makes 4,800 euros a year.
Why euros? I thought you used dinars.
I'm just saying it easier for you to understand.
Okay.
So she makes that amount of money. Let's say $4,800. Doesn't make a difference. So she's making that in a year. And she, before that, maybe 10 years before that, she was making only like $600 or even $8, even less a year before like 10 years. So she had to work like decades to get where she is now. And listen, she works from 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m. like a retard, with a lot of people that are pain in the ass. And she has listen, if you're in my country and people that work there are basically gonna lick other people's ass, that people gonna lick people's asses that are above, and when they do, you can go down just like this, and no one's gonna say shh, you know.
So it's a socialist country, right?
What?
Is it socialist? What kind of government?
Tell me, what's America? How's America?
I'm sorry?
Tell me, what's it? Ask yourself what you asked me about my country, and
Democratic.
that I think that's actually same with me, but it's actually not. You know, it is, but it's not. That's what I'm trying to say.
Why I'm asking is because, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not really good at this stuff, but in a socialist country, a lot of stuff is provided to you. So, like, I think the idea is that people kind of are all on the same level. Like in America, you have really, really poor people, and then you have people that are just extremely wealthy, and there's a huge divide, right? I think in a socialist country, it's like there's really no rich and poor, because you have like free education, free this, free that. The government provides a lot of stuff, so you don't need a lot of money to survive on, because you have so many things given to you. Is that how it is in Serbia?
It's complicated.
You said, yeah, it is?
No, I said it's complicated because the politicians might say something that's not actually very true. Listen, I'm just gonna try to make this as simple as possible. So listen, we are poor because our paychecks are very, very small. But next to that, some things are expensive, like with food. I'm not saying that food is expensive. I'm just saying it's expensive because we are poor. We're not poor like is in going to people and telling them, give me please some money, God loves you, blah, blah, blah. Those are the poor people. But poor people, like, you can have maybe a TV, a computer, internet, and food, and apartment. That's it. You cannot travel. You cannot buy a $1,000 PC. No, you can't. You're gonna buy a $200 PC because you're poor. You can't buy the plasma TV. You're gonna buy the regular TV, and etc. You can't buy an iPhone. You're gonna buy some Samsung Galaxy S3, something very old, because you don't have money. That's the case with my country. Some people that even have colleges don't get the job. They have diploma. They're like, oh, here's the diploma. And the country goes like, no job. Why? Because I don't know why. So that's the system. The system is effed up, and what I'm trying to say, even with diplomas, you cannot work all the time. You cannot get the money. Sometimes you can work for someone privately, or even not privately, and people will not pay you. They'll be like, screw you. So what I'm trying to say is, like, it's very hard to find a job that's stable and that pays enough money for you to pay the bills, food yourself, and maybe if you have kids, you know. I'm just saying, if you live here without everything you have, if you just started living here, you can have enough money to eat, not the best, but you can eat. You can have an apartment. Maybe if someone helps you, you can have it by yourself, but if not, you have to rent it because you don't have money for it. The second thing is, you can't buy anything expensive, regular clothes, choose wisely. If you want to travel, no traveling for you because you're poor. That's it.
What kind of I think I was gonna say.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. My girlfriend's aunt or something, I don't know if she programs, I don't know. She never said anything, but she's a photographer. My girlfriend says that her pay is 2,000 euros a month, and she said that she is living like a queen in my country, which we all know. Anyone who has more than 500 euros of paycheck a month has a lot of money. But if you have 1,000 or 2,000 euros a month in Serbia, you're considered a god. That's all I'm gonna say to you. In your country, you're gonna say like, pish poor, that's nothing, man. That's true, because America is rich. We are poor.
What about war?
What about war?
Has there been any wars recently, last 2 decades?
1999, the Bushes attacked us because of Kosovo.
Really?
Did you not look it up? I'm gonna go to YouTube right now. Just type it. I actually watched a couple of this. Let's see. War. Just give me a second. War on Kosovo.
You don't live in Kosovo.
No, I do not live, but Kosovo was part of Serbia. That was deleted from Serbia because Kosovo, when it was a part of Serbia, had a lot of Albanians, and we were trying to them. Then America jumped in, bombed us in 1999, just when I was born. And
Really?
Kosovo is Albanian. Oh, that's it.
You were born the year of The Matrix.
Yes.
My favorite movie.
I broke the Matrix. I'm just gonna tell you that. So listen, please look at this. I'm just gonna try to make it. This is the thing that I'm talking about. Is it quiet?
I don't hear anything.
Wait. How about now?
Yeah, but it's still kind of low.
I'm just gonna put it loudest.
saying yes to peace, Serbia stationed 40,000 troops in and around Kosovo in preparation for a major offensive and in clear violation of the commitments they had made. Now they've started moving from village to village, shelling civilians and torching their houses. We've seen innocent people taken from their homes, forced to kneel in the dirt and sprayed with bullets. Kosovar men dragged from their families, fathers and sons together, lined up, and shot in cold blood.
Who's shooting who in cold blood?
What did you say?
Who's shooting who in cold blood? Who's he talking about?
He's saying that Serbian folks were shooting Albanians. You know? That's what he's saying. So let's see the comments real quick. So So this is some Serbian foul language. I'm gonna translate it. I F your mother, Clinton. I'm gonna. This is really good. This is something I really love. So this, I mean, not because it's bad language, because of this part. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna translate it actually. So it says, I F. Sorry, it's really fun to me. I F your mother, reptilian. I F your reptilian family, TUSSY. America is evil. America is evil. So the thing is, why would I agree with my folks? The thing is because this particular person with a lot of similar people that, you know, were in charge of America are all connected with the skull and bones, and they're actually connected to everything. And let's say I don't believe in the, you know,
What are you saying, man?
I'm trying to say they're making shit out. They're just trying to take America for themselves. Listen, are you seeing how they're pushing immigrants in Europe?
We're gonna make America great again.
Yeah, listen. You see all these videos? You know the shadow ban. All the videos online on 9/11 are not by these channels. This is what they did with YouTube. Only news. If you type 9/11 inside job, you're not gonna see news because they don't want to post reality. If I find a channel that actually exposes them, then you can see something because I know the channel. But if you just type anything that...
Well, let me see something. I want to see, there's something identified recently that's problematic, and I want to see, because it's interesting because you're in a different country. Let me see what you see. So I've been trying to follow what Trump has been up to. And I realize a lot of misinformation, so I don't want to be just listening to one source. But yesterday when I did a search, I was getting pure CNN. And I said, there's so many, we got ABC, we got Fox, we got all these different networks, but I just keep seeing CNN. So do a search right now. Type in Trump, just Trump, and sort by date, and show me what you see for the latest videos on Trump.
Filter.
By date. No, not today. Don't do by today. Just remove that filter.
What filter?
Go back into filter. You're gonna see by date. Should be on the sort column, right? Look at the sort column. Upload date, right?
Upload date?
Yeah. So are these all CNN videos? Oh no, you see Young Turks. That's interesting. MSNBC comes up first. Is there anyone who is dominating your list? Any company that dominates your list?
CBS, CNN, Washington Post, TMZ Live, all bullshit. CNN, Fox News.
So you have a lot of CNN, but you're getting variety. I wasn't getting variety. I was seeing 90% CNN.
Listen, you already know that the media, the people that hold the media are the Rothschilds. We all know that. And of course, they're not gonna let you what you want to see because it's gonna expose them. No one wants to be exposed. Things I believe are the so-called conspiracy theories about what they're trying to do. So, are you live right now on YouTube?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be alive if I'm gonna tell you something that I think. That's something.
It's too late. They already know.
Well, it's actually not they do know because they actually listen through our phones. I'm just gonna tell you this. This is my opinion, of course.
Wow.
My opinion is that in the future there will be. This is of course a part of my friend's opinion. He's really older than me, but my opinion stacks half from it. But his opinion has like the opinion is more likely from him, but 30% from me. So this is the opinion. There will be wars for water. Now why you say that? Because you know how they are pushing everyone to eat the processed meat, the meat. Do you know how many liters of water does it take to, feed the cow or the pig? It takes 50,000 liters of water. And by that logic, you know how many water are you throwing away? A hell of a lot. So I'm just gonna find something for you. Give me a second. Something that I actually typed on my Facebook. Just give me a second. This is what my friend told me. And I just shared it. One second. What? Nope. What is it? Did someone delete it? Oh, okay. I found. So this is it. So what I said was, it's 5,000 liters of water for a kilogram. That's like 2 or 3 pounds of meat, even more. But a kilogram of meat is 40 euros. So that's how much we throw water next to killing animals. So that means for one pig or cow, we throw out 1 million liters while the cow grows. So people can eat it. And by that, we get sick because the cow is not meant for us to eat. It's type 1 carcinogen, which means it's definitely giving cancer. It's giving heart disease, the main killers in America or in our whole world. So what I want to say with that, our thoughts is that there's gonna be a war for water because one day there won't be water because all of the animals that are slaughtered, they kept in those factory farms. A lot of water is, took upon for them to live, so they can die, so we can eat them, so we can die. The plan is to delete people from this planet so they can have their reptilian, plan. That okay. Sounds extreme in the short term, but if you just look how they're trying to delete people from America, look at the different powers. Look how they're pushing everything away, and they're trying to put people in America in how can I explain that? In one place where everyone can get deleted. If you saw in California those fires, they say forest fires, but it's actually laser. It's laser to burn out shit. If you didn't see that, I'm actually gonna show you. It happened in California. A second, I'm just gonna find it. Please give me a second. Here it is. Look at this. Why is my screen not showing? Oh. So this is thousands of animals that were also killed by government fires in Paradise, California. So these are the pictures of animals burned by lasers. So I'm gonna show you this profile that I shared from. Here's more. Wait. Give me a second. Okay, so the thing is, they have this laser that, you know how a laser can burn something and like dismantle it, delete it in less than a second, and it doesn't make fire. It just delete the thing. That's why you don't see trees burned in California. That's why you only see things like buildings burned.
Igor,
What?
this is not going to help pay your bills.
Yeah.
So time is a precious commodity. You have to be very mindful of what you're spending your time on. You have a lot of stuff that you want to accomplish for yourself. So be careful of spending too much time on this stuff. It's good to question things and seek to understand and whatever. But on the same token, you have very important things that you're trying to accomplish that you don't want these things to get in the way of.
Okay.
Right, so just be careful how much time you're spending on that.
Okay, I understand what you're trying to say, but here's the thing. Here's the picture. So, they're trying to say that this is done by nature. The trees are not burned. It's lasers.
So what is on the agenda for you tomorrow? What programming are you doing tomorrow?
That's how you're gonna. Okay. What am I gonna do? I'm thinking about reading the book.
Which book?
By the Bill Urbanowicz guy. It's like a beginner's book for Python.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm not sure when I'm gonna be live streaming tomorrow. As soon as I figure it out, I'll schedule one and then put it up. I guess I'll do the next episode of the epic Hello World. I'm probably gonna do logging. I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking about maybe adding logging to the script, because that might make sense. Because if we're gonna make this better and better and better, then I should add some fundamental things like logging, which is going to allow us to track the script and what it's doing, and also track the growth of it. Because if I log what we're doing now, then you'll be able to look at the logs and see, as the script grows, the log is going to indicate the new features being added and stuff like that. So that'll be a nice thing to give us perspective and watch the whole thing. So I don't know, either that, or I might add like a something basic, like a something that counts how many times that it's run. So every time you run it, it just adds. So you keep track of how many times. I don't know, something like that. But either way, I'm going to add another feature tomorrow, and I'll schedule the stream. What's that?
Do you disagree with something?
What do you mean?
I would love to hear for you agree or disagree with the things that I said. It's okay if you disagree.
What are you talking about? The stuff that you were showing me?
Yep.
I don't agree or disagree. I just don't have time to focus on that. Like I myself have a lot of, like I said, time is precious, right? There's a lot of things I need to accomplish. I don't have the luxury of time to be spending time looking at that stuff. So I don't have
I respect your choice. It's just weird for me. Like when I went really deep, that's when it exploded.
What do you mean?
When I went really deep into what I'm saying, that's when nah, man.
It wasn't when it was deep. Just in general, it was off topic. I mean, we're supposed to be talking about programming. I mean, it's a nice thing to be a little casual, but I mean, all that stuff has nothing to do with what we're here about. Like this is we're learning Python. I'm teaching you Python, not talking about that stuff. So spending a lot of time, whether it's deep or light, is irrelevant. That's time that you never can get back, right? And again, time is precious, right? There's a lot of stuff to be accomplished.
I'm young and I even respectful.
Yeah, so it's like you gotta, because it's tricky, man. Like I waste time myself, and that's something that's challenging, where it's always, staying. It's like something like working out, right? You gotta stay disciplined, stay on focused on,
You also have to be in the moment, even when you spend your time on BS. You have to be in the moment, not like saying, don't lose yourself helping because this dumbass equals I spent 20 minutes about talking about conspiracy theories. Like, forget about that. Like say, I'm in the present moment. I'm about to do something that I'm about to do now. That's sleep. And that's how I live my life. I don't think about the past nor the future. I just know the future is gonna be better for me, financially, love, friends. I hate people that don't have friends. I'm just kidding. We're working out, and that's it. So like, be in the present moment because it's everything we have. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep, and in the present moment, I am well past my bedtime, so I'm gonna take some snippets from what we did from this live stream. I'm gonna pick those points out and make them separate videos, and then I'm gonna shut the stream down. And
I just want to thank Mark Zuckerberg and everyone listening to our chat right now. People that are trying to kill us in the future.
no one's trying to kill us. All right, so
you say that.
So if you hear sound, you're gonna hear. I'm just playing back the live stream to pick the points to clip them out.
Knowledge.
Yeah. So go to bed, Igor.
It's 6 a.m. I'm probably gonna go to suicide right now. I might end up by myself as a computer program, not as a male.
I'm gonna hold myself to more than 3. So 3 videos, that's the only thing that people can expect. So that's the scheduling stuff we're talking about. We're looking at 2 days right now.
2 people.
Well, I'm gonna need some time to pick that one up.
Is watching,
but
I'm guaranteeing.
What this one?
Oh, we
Who did that? Somebody thumbed us down.
Who's gonna kill that person, probably?
I guess it was just you and I. And then, yeah, see, somebody jumped on at 11. So
that person has bad plan. Train yourself up.
I think a tutorial day, an off-topic day, and an engagement day.
Before you leave, I just listed the link
Too
for
much,
you to
so,
watch when you have time.
You know. Okay. What's that? Yeah. Oh, you're not a moderator? So anyways, that's the basic
okay.
for 2019. So
I thought I made you a moderator.
Unlimited random. And I guess I'll take this out of this video so I can have this for my notes as well. Unlimited random, and I was kind of like, I want to learn Python, like you probably do. I was like, I want to learn Python, and then I would do a little stuff, and then I would stop managing some parts of the channel, like research, for example, right? Somebody like this could be a job where all you do. Nice, that's good enough. So that was research topics, channel scheduling, you see what's going on, CPU channel scheduling, read the comments, talk, try to identify something that there's a demand. Done. People are doing videos about machine learning, right? It will be a way to describe it. So imagine something like a stop sign. Stop sign is not pop-out chat. Oh my goodness.
Holy cow.
What is up? Is it like the USB is loose? It's like,
Thanks,
driving me crazy. You're the man.
Yeah, you the man. I'm just the side man.
Sideman.
Look at this gun. Look at this gun. Sounds out, guns out.
What is going on?
Alright, so now I can see your
Just have a juicy video for you
comments.
to watch later.
I can see.
The President Trump just texted you from Iraq. You may not be able to get this soon.
Aha!
Let's go.
Look at that. So Igor, is this the error that you were getting? So it says 2 lines. I said, let's put a space between the 2 lines.
Okay, so that is me helping you with that code thing.
Then current line equals final line or something like that. What version of Python are you using?
Python 3.
Oh, I didn't clear the screen. That is way too loud. Oh my goodness.
I don't want to cry.
You know, it's the stupid algorithm and whatever, and
Complaining about YouTube yet again.
Why not? This is a call from the boss. Not to copy it exactly, but to try to implement the code by myself. So I do actually start to do it. The thing is, explain this, but
Okay, so that's the tutorial session. Helping subscriber with Python bug. Beginner. Put a beginner or something. Beginner. All right. Done. I think that's everything. So we did that, and then we were talking about YouTube.
because I'm gonna care about that. It's gonna bother me. The proof is in the pudding. I want to see it demonstrate.
oh yeah, before I go,
You know?
do some pull-ups for you.
Oh, before I run
You
out,
don't need to do any
you
pull-ups.
had another problem, or does this
can
resolve
make
all of the
practically
issues
some
you're
money,
having with your
motivation.
code?
Yes.
You know, it was a good session too when we were talking about programmer versus developer. But where is that?
I'm
It's interesting you say that because I've done a similar thing with music. So the thing is, every single time that I've done that, it's required a certain level of commitment. But there's a lot of things that don't require a high level of attention that you should be reading fast over. So the end is, if you're driving a car, you're able to see in your mirror, on your left, on your right, you can see a lot of...
Give me a number. Give me a number.
5.
Oh my god, don't be ridiculous. Something
diced
harder.
tomatoes in the cupboard. Like, okay, let me use this.
15.
I'm making my own like custom thing.
What?
It's not something you bought in a store. It's something that I make
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
you, or you're gonna create it with things like, oh, let me do a video about. I mean, further, if I have a normal schedule that you know, every Tuesday at such and such time, you know I'm live streaming, then you can look forward to it. But again, the trick there, so I can do that from anywhere. If I'm gonna be on the road, so I can't do live stream. But I really appreciate your help, man, Igor. Python knowledge for you to a certain problem where the tax app
You cheated, man. That's not a real bar.
take into account certain things, so they end up doing a lot of work themselves. So then it's like, okay, so either you're going to create a product that's going to identify or going to resolve that issue, or you're going right? It's a whole system, you know. People think it's just like you just get online and you post videos, but it's like most times the software design is not going to come from a developer. Have a certain menu program. You just the idea is to experiment with potentially a singular concept. I'm going to use the random function, and then I'm going this factor different plan.
All right, so that's that.
So it's
Helping subscriber with program design. Boom! And that's it. So I just uploaded like 4 videos from the stream. Webcam only. Ladies and gentlemen, as in myself and Igor, basically, because everybody else is sleeping. This concludes this live stream. Thank you very much, Igor, for joining in. And I look forward to the next episode of the Epic Hello World. And I hope to see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
wow.
Buonanotte.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Hasta luego. Buenas noches.
Yeah, next time look at me when I do pull-ups.
I saw you, man. You were cheating.
How the fuck was I cheating? It was like perfect form.
That bar is not a real bar.
He's very. What the heck? It's you talking about.
Go to bed, Igor, man. All right, later. See you tomorrow.
Man, you.
Ciao.
It's real.
Fake, fake, fake. All right, man. Ciao.
See you later.
All right.
Program.
Ciao. This is the Computer Programming University. And on that note,
I think
on that note,
one thing I
note,
would warn you about is
it's lights out.
a mistake that I've made in the past is,
It's very mysterious.
you know what, and you can relate to this with your physical fitness stuff, right?
Buonanotte. Who is this guy that's talking? Shut up. All right, guys. I'm out. Buonanotte. Who is this guy that's talking? Shut up. All right.
Click subscribe, then click the bell. Click the bell because you don't want to miss out on more awesome content that I'll be posting soon right here on this channel. Welcome aboard. Buongiorno.